into recession under the presidency of Muhammadu Buhari. Let's get our facts clear. Nigeria went into recession in 2015, not in the time I was at the central bank when our track record was actually exemplary. We stabilized Nigerian banks. No bank failed after the global financial crisis when I was deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, working with the governor, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, as he then was, currently the Emir of Kano. We achieved exemplary reforms in the Nigerian financial system. I was deputy governor for operations. I introduced the bank verification number, BVN. Some people in this government today are claiming that it's their achievement, and I'm just laughing in Hausa, English, and Igbo, and Yoruba. You know, politicians just play funny games, and I just laugh because I can tell you all the work we did to bring in the BVN, and somebody is telling people who don't know better that they're responsible for the BVN. So we brought in all the POS, the reform of the payment system, the reform of the financial system. We reduced inflation to 8% by the time we left the bank in 2014. How many central banks are that successful? So you cannot intimidate me by telling me that I'm part of the old order. No, I am part of a revolutionary order of transformation. I have always been, still am, will continue to be.
So are you going to adopt the templates which you initiated while you were deputy governor of Central Bank? Is that still where you're taking Nigeria to?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad you asked this question, because one of the reasons I am aspiring for the mandate of the people at the political level now is that if we could do all the things we achieved at the central bank as technocrats, imagine if you had the political authority, the legitimacy of being elected by Nigerians to manage their affairs. Imagine what we would achieve in all spheres. That's the point.
We have a lot of people who served while you were the deputy governor of Central Bank facing corruption charges now. How do you intend to fight corruption?
Who served in the central bank?
Not
or who
central
were politicians?
Bank. Who were politicians?
Oh, that's different. Yeah.
So, yeah, because you are making a foray into the political threshold now.
Yeah.
How do you intend to fight corruption if you get there?
I will fight corruption the way it should be fought, which is not what is happening now. What is happening now is a pretense at fighting corruption. It is playing political football with fighting corruption.
How do you intend to fight corruption?
I need to make the contrast before I tell you how. How I will do it is this. Number one, we are going to focus on the fundamental issues that drive corruption, which is the value system. The value system problem in Nigeria today has not been addressed. I will address it as president, first by bringing in ethics as a compulsory part of the curriculum in Nigerian primary schools, secondary schools, and for people who want to study in universities, it will be optional. So young people need to know what is right and wrong. And then as they grow up into it, they will not depart from it. Now, you can never have a perfect society or a corruption-free society, but you can take corruption to the margins. Right now, it's in the center. By bringing a new generation of Nigerians who have an ethical framework, who have a worldview based on a value system of where Nigeria should be going. That's what a competent and visionary leader does. The second thing I will do is that accountability for acts of corruption will be enforced impartially. Not what is happening today where people are corrupt, then immediately they move to the APC. They're no longer, they're saints. No, that's not fighting corruption. That is corruption in itself. So I will begin the fight against corruption inside my own government. That's where I'll strike first. Number three, I will make the EFCC a completely independent institution. The EFCC will not be reporting to the presidency so that it's not used as a political tool against the political detractors of the president, which is what we have had since it was set up. So I'm going to make the EFCC a truly independent institution. Number four, very important, is that we're going to use transparency to fight corruption. Every budget of the federal government of Nigeria under my presidency will be subjected, first of all, to a forensic audit to make sure that there is no budget padding.
Your initiative so far suggests that you might be assuming that you would have your way through proclamation. There's no room for this in democracy. You would also need enabling laws, and that is where the National Assembly comes in.
Yes.
Now, when you look at the YPP, one is compelled to ask,
yes,
what is the representation?
Yes.
What representation of the YPP do you expect
yes,
in terms of having a national structure?
Good.
What is the percentage of representation would it be in the National Assembly? Because many Nigerians feel that you might be running a lone race.
No, I'm not. Like, the YPP is a party of the grassroots. We're not a party of private jets. That's why it might.
I'm talking about the representation of the.
I know what I'm saying.
Strategic
and I'm coming
structures
to that.
of governance.
I know what I'm coming. I know. It's always I lay a foundation. See, the way I think, and that is what I try to convey to Nigerians, is that if you don't understand the problem, you cannot provide the solution. You can't solve it. So, we have over 300 candidates today for elections in 2019. Governorships, Senate races, House of Representatives, House of Assembly, in addition to the presidency. And we expect as many of them as possible. A lot of them will win. Maybe not everyone, but majority of our candidates will surely win and enter into legislative functions in government. So a revolution is coming. A democratic revolution is coming.
What are the chances of YPP having a majority say in the National Assembly?
Let the electorate decide.
Do you think they have such possibilities?
I don't go into hypotheticals. We're going into an election. Let the electorate decide. What I want to tell you is that whoever is in the National Assembly, as president of Nigeria, I will work effectively with the legislators, whether it's YPP, whether it's the PDP, whether it's APC. Now, because I have the leadership ability and capacity, that's what is lacking now. And that is why, even though the president and the APC, which is supposed to be in the majority in the National Assembly, they can't work together because there's a leadership failure all around. And the president, even though he does not legislate, you talked about proclamation. No, the things we will do by executive authority, we will do. The things that need legislative backing, we will seek it with the rationale, with the negotiations, with the mutual respect and discussion. That's why it's a democracy. You have the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. And under my presidency, each of these three organs of government will play their roles in full.